Update desk, I'm Jeff Lesson from more 9701theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. Views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of CBS Radio, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Alrighty. Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, and we got an unbelievable panel. I'm Harvey Free, but we got Alex Nafusi across the way.
Hey, buddy. How are you, man?
Fantastic. Harry Glan's always to my right.
Hey, Harvey. I like your radio voice.
Is that my radio?
Wow,
I got
you just went totally radio voice right there, man.
Wow, Harvey, the radio guy.
Lower that.
I got to lower that volume then. Sorry about that. A little raspy there, maybe. Hey, and we got some special guests, and we bring in Joe from our office, Hermeskia. Hey, Joe, what's happening?
Always love being on here, gentlemen. Got some awesome people today.
Boy, do you. Caitlin Pringrazzi, of course, right next to you over there, and Laura Kasanjian from the Max Brook office in Birmingham. Absolutely awesome ladies. You guys are so talented at what you do, and we're really happy to have you here to share all sorts of information on mortgages and real estate all morning long. We're going to be taking your calls at 248-539-9797.
It's all good.
It's all real good.
Good morning.
I want to ask the ladies. I'm going to hit them hard. I'm going to hit them hard out of the gate.
Sorry.
Yeah. Ladies, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So your area of expertise is where?
All of Southwest Michigan.
Southwest Michigan. And what's hot right now?
Oh, God, there's so many markets that are hot right now. The ones that I have been selling a lot in are Ferndale, Berkeley, Royal Oak, the usuals, but Oak Park and Hazel Park are making a strong comeback, too.
Woodward Corridor still hot.
Oh, yeah, totally hot.
So are you feeling like we are? This has been now, we're in the 7th year of really a major purchase boom here in southeastern Michigan. And what we're finding out, and here it is, it's going into the middle of November, we're seeing purchase agreements coming in later than we've seen in years gone by. So here we are, middle of November, the purchase market's still hot. How do you foresee the winter time here? Because you know southeastern Michigan is pretty cold. How do you foresee the winter purchase market?
The bulls, the buyers, they're ready to go. So they're all backed up, waiting for those doors to open so that we can get into the houses, get those purchase agreements put together. I mean, it's just, we've been waiting. They've been, maybe they put 8, 9, 10 purchase agreements through and they didn't get any of them. So they're still backed up and they're ready. And I think the winter is a perfect time for them to get in the door.
Well, I think right now,
sellers.
too, people tend to lower their purchase prices.
Yeah.
There's they have the come to Jesus moment where they say, listen, my house isn't worth $500,000, it's worth $450,000. I got to actually come to the market.
Well, Caitlin, Alex brings up a good point. He's brought it up now for the last 6 months. Everybody says there's a lack of inventory on the market. Now, Alex's point is every week is there's a lack of good inventory on the market. So now what are you seeing in your market area, the Woodward Corridor, which has been phenomenal the last, like I said, 6.5 years? What are you finding in the Woodward Corridor now?
There is a lack of inventory.
No,
absolutely.
there's not.
But there is a surplus of good projects. And unfortunately, the people that are buying at that market.
Thank you, Trump.
I'm sorry.
Boy.
Oh,
Wow.
geez.
Wow. They're going deep on it.
I will back my statement, but unfortunately, these people that have these great projects that they're putting on the market, they're trying to sell them as if they have updates. And so when you think about purchasing them at that price, you think about what you have to put into them, and that's where we're lacking right now, is that they're not being realistic with their selling points.
Yeah,
So
and
there's plenty
Alex
of
has said that,
properties.
we've said that, but here's the thing, and you're out on the street every day, you're seeing what's going on in the market, and there is a lot of activity going on because there was a pent-up demand. There were a lot of buyers that stayed home. There are a lot of buyers that didn't come into the market, and now it's so exciting out there right now that we're seeing it deep into the year. We're almost 11 months into a year, and usually in our area, southeastern Michigan, the purchases stop. They stop around, when the kids go back to school, you might get some what we call stragglers into October. But we're seeing a flurry of activity now. It's good. I just want an update from you. And I ask that question every week because, a lot of people aren't on the street every day like we are. You are. Your partner's on the street every day. You're working with buyers. You're working with sellers. And you just get the positive vibe that's going on. A lot of activity. So I'm glad you share those sentiments.
Absolutely. And there was a slowdown there for a few weeks that right after Labor Day, and now it's starting to pick up again at like a very random time. So it's all good. I think the buyers are in a good place to maybe get some good deals this winter.
I like that. Definitely home buying isn't like seasonal like it was in years past. I think even if you would say that too, Laura, it's definitely all year round here in Michigan. And before you know it, we were talking about one of the projects you guys have, the new construction in Northville. So if you're looking at some of the new construction projects and a lot of these great projects, you really got to sign the purchase agreement now so the house will be done in the spring.
Absolutely. And we are seeing, well, first of all, we're super excited to be representing these 34 new units that are going up in Northville.
Oh, that's
starting in the 290s and brownstones, and they are done. They are gorgeous, and we're partnering with Contour Development. So new construction is absolutely booming. That speaks kind of to where Caitlin was going, and what we're finding is, yes, I agree, we do have inventory. Part of our thing is we have a lack of inventory that meets our buyers' expectations. So something we're really working hard on is managing our buyers' expectations to understand what they should and shouldn't get for what they want. They kind of want everything. They want location, they want condition, and then they want a great price. And that's a tough thing for us.
Yeah, the wants and needs list really have to be redefined when you get out there in the marketplace. And depending upon what time of the year or what your motivation is, you might have to change your needs list just a little bit.
Exactly.
And you can always renovate a house. I mean, there's lots of opportunities there. We even offer all these renovation loans. So there is opportunity out there. Where we were talking yesterday, I said, whenever there's something bad, there's always something good for something else. So where there's a bad situation like the recession from 2008-9, now we have all these opportunities out there, and so many families have been taking advantage of it.
Exactly.
So, Laura and Caitlin, I was at a closing yesterday, and it was a young guy, bought his first house, 25, 26 years old. Great young guy. And he went out and he looked at 17 to 22 homes. And he would find these homes on the internet, and I want you to speak to that. And they didn't show that well, or as Harvey likes to say, they weren't staged that well in the pictures on the internet. And he was driving in a neighborhood in one of the homes. He just happened to pass it by, and it looked so much better in person that he decided to go in it, walk around, and the moral of the story is he bought that house. You still have to. I mean, you could do some shopping, information gathering on the internet, but when you get into a house, you really see it. And to go what Harvey was saying, you have some expectations. You have, this plan in your head when you want to buy a house, but you really have to go out in the market and look and really do your homework.
Absolutely. I mean, there's agents out there that take their own photos, so a lot of times they don't turn out as well. So you do actually have to go in the door and see these houses physically.
You use a camera, right? Not an iPhone?
I actually want to speak to that, too, from
absolutely.
the listing side.
Yeah.
Because I list a lot of homes. And one of the things I tell my sellers is my job is obviously to have a professional photographer in there taking photos.
There you go.
To depict your home in a correct manner. But it's a dance. My job is not to make the house look better
dancing.
than it is, but to make it look enticing enough for you to come in, but for you to walk in the door and still feel like, wow, it's better than I thought.
Right.
If I have you walk in the door and you say, I thought it was bigger, I thought it was prettier, I thought whatever, right. I've actually not done my job.
No, right. You want to go ahead.
Like
you want
Tinder.
to
You don't
represent
wanna,
it properly. You don't want to mislead anybody. You want to go ahead and, like you said, the house is going to speak for itself. Your job is to get people there and market it properly to get people there. If it's a 1,400 square foot bungalow, Cape Cod, and you say expansive Cape Cod, and somebody walks in there and the closets are 2x4. I mean that doesn't speak well to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like how you guys work up. Your team is really set up where, Laura, you're really we're doing on the listing side, and of course, Caitlin's out there working with a lot more buyers, so it really works great on both sides. Definitely talked about a few things, and then Caitlin, you threw it out there. You said something about a lot of the buyers you've been working with are making multiple offers, and for whatever reasons they're not getting them. People are going to keep going over and above asking price on these great houses that are in move-in condition. So,
which is going to stop, I'm telling you right now.
And it could.
Don't say that.
I'm telling you, I'm just about
I don't
here. I'm being
think
honest.
so.
Negative.
You know what I like? Right,
Guys,
there it is. On one side, it works.
I'm not being pessimistic at all. I mean, it's pure mathematics. This area, like demographically, you can't if you take the average income and the average home price, it doesn't support $600,000 purchase prices in Royal Oak.
Yeah.
It mathematically doesn't
there will
work.
be some pushback from the
Yeah,
buyers.
it's not gonna
And
happen.
we have seen that in the last few
Well,
months.
that's kind of a working theory I have anyway, and this is something we were talking about, that we feel like we're having a bit of a step back, but we're not really having a step back. What we have is sellers who went out there and they were told, okay, I think we can sell your house for $200. Okay, wait, we don't really know, maybe 210. And then, okay, maybe 220. And we were hunting and pecking in the opposite direction back to the recession days when we were going on a free fall down. Now
Right.
we're going up and up because we don't want to leave money on the table for the sellers. And what happened was I think we ping-ponged a little too far
I understand.
ahead.
So here's the counterpoint to that, though. Like, every single soccer mom I know is in real estate now. So it's like, oh, we'll list your house for $250. Might be worth $180, but let's throw it up for $250. And if we get the offer, we'll take it.
I think Laura brings up a good point, Alex. It's what we've talked about a lot in the last 17 years on this show. You're going to have those ebbs and flows in the market, and what you're going to find is that $200,000 house that somebody wanted to list at $220 is going to sell for $190. And
Exactly.
I think that's what Laura's point is, and I think what our job is, and that's why this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show, is just to point out both sides. It's to be objective, point out both sides, but people there. You've got to gather your information. This is the largest transaction you're ever going to make in your life.
This is my favorite hour of the week, just
Okay,
so you
right.
know.
And
as much as we argue on the show, as much as
it's
aggressive
hard
as it
to tell.
gets, it is. I'm telling you, I promise you guys,
Yeah,
I give you my word, this is my favorite hour of the week.
But it's fun to go and throw this back and forth with people who've been in the industry a long time and who are out there. I mean, sometimes we get people in here, believe it or not, that don't know what they're talking about. Okay, today it's not that case.
So what do you do? What do you do when the house doesn't appraise out?
So now, I want to get into our next.
Let's talk about
in our
that.
next
Actually,
15
let's talk
minutes.
about that.
Well, we will.
We will.
We got.
Are we
Well,
going
I
to break,
think-
guys?
I think there is something to be said that the last few transactions that I've done have been
Yeah.
multiple offer situations, and we weren't the highest bidder.
All right.
But we
Hey,
made the PA
hey,
look,
okay,
or the purchase agreement
Yeah.
look crafty enough where it was
Oh,
speaking to the
crafty.
seller's needs.
That's a great word.
I'll tell you what,
And
but
it's
get to
all-
it.
crafty.
It's about listening to the listing agent and what the seller wants, and it's not always about the highest bidder wins.
Caitlin, you got
Right.
great points. When we come back, we're going to get all of this. 248-539-9797. Come on back and join us.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
This feels like definitely high school, college football. Feels like a
is.
football Sunday. By the way, the Lions are playing tomorrow night, if you didn't hear.
Going.
Awesome.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, Detroit bringing it home.
My
Hopefully
wife's going to make her one and only appearance for the year.
Oh, down at Ford Field. Awesome.
Ford Field, we're going to go out.
Right.
We're going to take another couple.
All right.
Jay and Becky are going to go with us.
Sports back in
You know
Detroit.
Jay and Becky.
I know those folks. Yes, I
Yeah.
do. Awesome. We'll have a
we
great
need a
time.
win. We need a win.
You're going to wear the blue? I think it's a blue out. You wear
I
the
might even
Honolulu?
pull my Lion stuff. Sure.
Pull it out. All
Why
right.
not?
248-539-9797. We take all your calls here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, we're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. That's where you can find James Lutz, Harvey Frieda, and Harry Glantz all week long, along with our fine staff. I'm telling you, folks, come and meet us. Sit down with us. You're going to love the experience. It's been 24 plus years that I've been with Capital, and I'll tell you, James, I know you've been with us just recently, and it's
I love it, guys. I absolutely love it. I
we
wake up
love
every day
having ya.
fortunate to have, and people don't understand. I thought about on the way here is it's the simple things from the owners of the company, all the other owners of the companies I work for. They're not there working hard, supporting you every day with their door open. These guys are.
This
That
is not
means a
made up
lot.
stuff.
That means a lot
brother.
to a
I
loan
like
officer.
that. I
It's
like
all
that
I
a
got.
lot. Mario, you bring a lot of great information with us. Hey, let's roll off, Mario. Our appraiser that sometimes we have on the show, Mike Tomczak's on the line right now, calling in from Troy. Mike, if you're there, there you go.
Uh-oh, brother. What did we say wrong today?
Hey, Mike. Sorry about that.
Gentlemen.
If I stepped on you, go ahead.
What's up, my man?
Gentlemen, I'm in Milford today, but doing an appraisal. But I will tell you right now, you knew I was going to call in on that complex.
You know I love you.
All right, the complex guy, perfect, great question, terrific. Here's the one misconception I think people miss a lot when it comes to the appraisal. You want to reconcile the dominating characteristics. So if it's a complex, unique property, you want to hit if it's lakefront, if it's on a busy road, of course, the style, and if it has a basement. But any of the little items, I heard him mention the brick, but any of the little items, if you can't substantiate it using market data,
Right.
you can't adjust for it, and it's very difficult to reconcile. So a complex, unique property, if you have a lot of unique features that are not consistent with the neighborhood, they're probably not going to get reconciled because you can't substantiate it
Correct.
using regression analysis or
Right.
nonlinear regression analysis or something.
These are big words.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know, and we try to point that
Hitting than a blindside linebacker. Mike Valenti on Game Day Uncensored. Sundays on 97.1 The Ticket.
That's going to wake up all our listeners out there. Good morning. If you're just tuning into the Hardcore Mortgage Show, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, a 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always here in the studio, 248-539-9797. We talk about mortgages and real estate.
This show, Harp?
Coming up on 18 years here this January.
Yeah,
18
good.
years this January. We thank all the callers, of course, always for calling. And we want to hear from you. If you're out there purchasing a home or looking to refinance your mortgage, definitely give us a call here. We can talk some things out. So many families out there still with land contracts that they have to pay off. They might have entered into land contracts when they were going through the tougher times, our recession that we had here and across the country in the early, let's say 2008, 9, 10. So a lot of families have these great opportunities out there. And that's who we want to invite to call the show, too. If you had also a past bankruptcy, foreclosure, it doesn't mean that, it's all over for you. You can get back into the game and become a homeowner. And again, home ownership, it's not always for everybody, but if you're planning on staying here and putting a gorgeous roof over your head, it's something you definitely want to take a look at. Again, 248-539-9797.
Harvey brought up a great point about the land contracts. A recorded land contract is just like a refinance. It's a very simple transaction to pay that off. And a lot of times a land contract, you're going to pay a very high interest rate, 8, 9, 10% on that. If it's recorded, it's a refinance transaction. It's very simple. We do an appraisal. I mean, you can even take cash out on that. I have a transaction right now.
Make sure it's recorded. If it's not recorded, then you're going to be in a world of
Go ahead.
trouble.
Exactly.
Go ahead. I'll stop. Go ahead.
No doubt, Joe. And getting clients organized for those transactions too. Again, if you have a land contract and you haven't been, for example, keeping a copy of your canceled checks, your bank statements, the documentation of support. If you guys have any side deals going on, such as on land contracts, sometimes if you pay it off by a certain date, you can go ahead and get a discount on that payoff. Again, get more professional people involved in your real estate transactions to have a better result. And we have 248-539-9797. Open lines all morning long. Harry, I always want to get into the mortgage banking aspect of educating our borrowers out there. I know the real estate agents, it's nonstop. It's always educating borrowers to sort of go with the times. And as you're out there, as we went from the summertime and maybe, nonstop overbidding on houses and not getting that offer accepted, now we are in a slightly different time.
Yeah, the market has definitely been doing a little bit of a roller coaster ride, actually, over the last, I want to say, since June. It was crazy strong for the first part of the year, and then we kind of had this roller coaster ride. The biggest thing is real estate agents, I think, and I know we project this in our team meetings, we talk about it all the time, is not assuming our buyer knows anything, not assuming our seller knows anything, and to constantly keep them abreast of what's happening. It's a very big, complicated transaction from beginning to end. And our job is to not say, oh, well, I thought you would know that because I've done it 40 times myself, but you haven't. So our job is to keep letting them know what's in front. It's not as scary, right? If you know what's in front of you, it's not as scary.
Right. The expectations, everyone has those expectations put out there in the forefront. That way you know exactly what happens if your offer is not accepted or maybe there's a counter offer. You have your game plan all set and ready to go. Also why it's so important to have professionals like you guys. Not only are you well spoken, I know this isn't just talk. You guys know exactly what you're doing, and there's no doubt if people are listening out there, it's a great opportunity to hook up with some great agents. Thanks. Again, 248-539-9797. Let's run off to our first caller this morning. We got Dean out in Shelby. Hey, Dean, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good morning.
Morning, Dean.
What's up, Dean?
I had a question regarding, my wife and I are looking at some property, with a home with property, I should say, in St. Clair County in Casco, and I have an opportunity to either go land contract or conventional. We have our main home right now and 2 other properties that we were going to sell to put towards down payment, regardless if we went conventional or land contract.
Yeah, you definitely need to get approved for a mortgage. There's no doubt about that. Dean, how the seller, you've already contacted the seller, and this is something that you guys are going to, what's your time frame on this?
Probably the spring.
All right, Dean, I have a couple questions for you. Did the seller offer land contract terms to you, or is this something that you're just exploring on your own and haven't brought up to the seller?
Well, I know the seller. He said, whatever you guys want to do, I'll even consider a land contract.
Okay.
So we don't have to go that route.
No, but he's flexible in his terms because obviously a land contract is it's seller financing and getting a conventional mortgage. You're borrowing, from us or a traditional lender. So, and is this going to be contingent on you selling any of your properties, but is the seller just going to wait for you to do what you do to clean your slate and then go with the transaction?
No, it's not contingent. We have been curb shopping, looking at trying to find something with some property in the Macomb County, St. Clair County area. And it happens to be a good friend of mine that's selling the property. He currently has a tenant in it. And that tenant's term would be up in May. So my wife and I were already planning on selling these other properties to put towards.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a plan that's formulated. You're starting to, you have a plan. It's diagrammed out, and now for both you, your wife, and your friend. So I think the best thing to do is let's take a look at your plan because you have to have there's some serious goals and objectives that you're trying to meet here, and let us see if we can go ahead and be part of that success for you.
Okay. One of the other questions I had is, can you take out a equity line when you have a land contract? How does that work? I guess we could talk about that off the air, but that was one of my main questions.
No, you can't take a home equity line when you're on a land contract. No, but Dean, here's the thing, man. Like, if you're dealing with one of your good buddies, I would just do a regular conventional mortgage. You don't want to be, on a land contract with a friend. I mean, I hate saying that because I have 3 or 4 good buddies that I've been friends with for 30 years. And none of us do the money thing, between each other. Just get a regular mortgage and be done with it.
Yeah, Dean, we're going to call you off the air because I'm going to give you all sorts of knowledge that you guys need to know. But you need to know if you do enter into a land contract that you might be able to refinance that and obtain an FHA mortgage where you can pull the equity out of the home and get one new mortgage. So there's a lot of choices and things that you and I could talk about off the air. And I think you just need to keep filling up your knowledge bank and we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, I highly appreciate that. We do have a large amount that we'll be able to put down on a large purchase.
Yeah.
Define large, Dean? What are you talking about, purchase price wise?
Around $400,000.
Okay,
that's good.
Yeah,
we can do conventional mortgage for you, man. No worries.
Let us take a look at it. We'll clean up the moving parts for you, and then we'll just move on.
Hey, thanks for the call, Dean. Really good stuff. Again, exciting out there. Got a lot of families will call us. Their dreams are to maybe get that land up north or just a little bit in northern Oakland County, or wherever it might be, Genesee, Washtenaw, Livingston. And yeah, you can make your dreams come true.
Are you just naming counties right now?
I'm just naming them
because 3 of those were not up north.
All of them are.
The northern part. I said the northern part of those counties. And again, that's because
can't get anything past him.
No, he's super sharp today. But you definitely want to, again, your dreams they can make it. You can definitely make them happen. There's no doubt you can make your dreams happen, but you got to put all your ducks in a row.
Right now, if people are looking to go on a land contract, there has to be a reason why. There's no reason why. They might have more properties than they should. They might have, they might need to be a little bit more flexible in terms of when they enter into that transaction. Maybe they've got something going on that is unconventional. But right now, land contracts aren't the norm. A few years ago, they were. And those kind of things, they come and go. But there has to be a reason why. So we're going to have to get down in there, get into the mix on that. And
just like any client.
See how many moving parts there are on there. But, you guys were talking about, I really like the team approach. I like the fact that you guys work as a team. And because I think you can get more coverage that way. I think you can get really more involved with your clients when you have a team approach than when you try to do things individually.
Absolutely. We have 4 eyes on every person.
Yeah, and I think, problem is the music's
here. You can't
say
that word anymore.
No, the problem is the music's coming on, and I want to get into property values in the next segment.
Let's talk about some property values. All your calls, we'll be right back. 248-539-9797.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 9:31 if you're just joining us. the Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us all weekend long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's 1-800-569-7283. This is different than anywhere else. You sit down with real professional mortgage bankers. We talk to you about home ownership A to Z. We know it all A to Z, and that way you can really get that confidence and knowledge behind you.
So, Harvey, last week we had Mike Tomczak from Paramount Appraisals calling.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of good calls with Mike calling in and talking about property values. I don't want to wreck the mojo on that. But this week, Harvey, could have been a first. We had 2 appraisals come in at above value.
Oh, good.
And I only had to rebut 3 this week. So the good news is it seems that, I'm going to say this, that the purchase prices, the values are catching up with the purchase prices. It's going to generally happen at this time of year because the sales that have been booked and closed from the summer, John Cole, are now being used as comps on sales right now, November and going forward, December and January. So you could see less problems, when I say problems from our standpoint, with values, okay? I don't want to wreck the mojo.
Somebody knock on some fake wood in
you're
this
going
office.
You're going to have value problems.
I'm just being optimistic. Well, we did, and John's here. We can talk about property values. We have a purchase in Hazel Park going on right now, and Hazel Park is really, really hot right now. Okay, property sold for about $109. Appraisal came in at $85, $86.
Yeah.
Okay, and things happen because it hasn't caught up. Nope. It hasn't caught up yet. People are buying homes, they're renovating them, they're selling them, they're doing a lot of great things, and then they want to flip them. Okay,
the problem with that whole flip market and buying things and fixing them up is that these people are going to have to overpay based upon the appraised value, and that's the only way to get a market to catch up a little bit quicker, right? Otherwise, you're going to just be stagnant with what the current sales are.
Well, I was talking with Randy about that. She might be working with some buyers, and just to keep everyone's eyes open about the fact, like Randy, it sort of segues into what John's talking about, is you might be working with a $250,000 buyer, but if they spend a little bit more, maybe if they do qualify and they spend more, then they don't have to worry about redoing the kitchen because this house has already been renovated. And again, sometimes the market won't catch up with you.
Yeah, but dude, here's the thing, okay? And I'm always open about the projects I do on my house. And Colby, you just did, I think your kitchen last year. So between my patio or Colb's kitchen, do you know how much money I'm going to recoup from doing my patio?
You're going to have to live there a long time.
Next to nothing.
But you're not doing it for that reason. But when you go and buy a new home, when there's a new buyer going into a market, Hazel Park, Ferndale, Royal Oak, and the house has been renovated, they love the house. Just because they want to pay $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 for the house, it doesn't mean it's going to appraise out. All I'm saying is right now, it seems that the market has settled down a little bit. To your point, Alex, you're saying, no, it hasn't. I would agree in certain areas, like on a project that John is doing, where somebody's walking into a house that, the market in Hazel Park, they've been flipping them and they've been doing them, so they're not going to catch up so quickly.
Okay, all right, hear me out for a second, okay. You guys remember the old, the Normandy Oaks Golf Club? The one to Delamere and in Normandy and Royal Oak? Okay, so that went out of business. They closed.
Okay.
This is 97.1 The Ticket.
We're brought to you by the Michigan Lottery. Pistons winners in the home court 111-104. Paced by Andre Drummond, 16 points and 20 rebounds. Wings get Columbus tonight at the LCA, 7 p.m. right here on 97.1 The Ticket. It's Michigan football today on the road at Maryland, 3:30 to kickoff on AM 950 WWJ. Meanwhile, Michigan State, a 17-point underdog at the Shoe in Columbus today. That kicks off at 12 noon. Meanwhile, the Lions will have a home game tomorrow against Cleveland at Ford Field. Lions about an 11-point favorite in that one. They'll be without the services of offensive guard T.J. Lang because of a concussion. Also, Ziggy Ansah listed as doubtful. Michigan State opens up their season with a victory over North Florida, 98-66 in college hoops. They were paced by 20-10 from Miles Bridges. And Justin Upton, despite being traded away to California with a month to go in the season, voted Tiger of the Year. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97to1theticket.com.
97.1 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text the ticket, standard text messaging rates apply.
everybody. Welcome back to the show. 9:33. What a gorgeous day outside. November 11, 2017. If you haven't obtained your approval letter, definitely call Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Absolutely.
You're going to get a real declaration from us that says not only can you obtain a mortgage, you understand your terms, you've already proven your income, your funds to close, and all of the local real estate agents and any real estate agent across the area would love to hear that you have a true approval letter and you're ready to close within 30 days. Very important.
We're talking about a real approval letter.
This is real. This is the real McCoy.
This is underwritten. This is run through DU, AU, through Ginny, Fannie. This is what we do at our office, and we have a manual underwriter take a look at it. This is what we do.
Yeah, that's a really important thing right now in a multiple offer situation, to be able to say it's worth more than the paper it's written on. It's an actual approval.
Right. We're not talking about pre-quals. We're not talking about rate and we're not talking about property analysis. We're talking about an underwriting, bona fide underwriting approval.
And of course, I like what you went with it, Caitlin. You said actually off the air, you said, Harvey, it's not always the highest offer. The highest offer doesn't always close smoothly. And again, you said there's some other things. So let's talk about a couple of those things that really could make your offer a little bit more enticing to the seller. And obviously, the days of occupancy is very important.
Yeah, occupancy is going to be really important if you're excluding anything from the sale. If the sellers just want, maybe some free rent, for that time, like those things are very important to the seller. Because everybody's looking for a house themselves usually when they're moving on, and that's the biggest thing is that the inventory is on a crunch. So if they're able to sell their house and they still need to find a house, they're going to need some of that wiggle room.
Some flexibility there, obviously, with closing dates also. So you can accept an offer now and you can, let's say, extend a closing date, let's say all the way through December, and then allow still a 60-day time frame where they could still rent the house back. And that gives you ample time to maybe go ahead and find another home.
Yeah, and I've seen some as much as 90 to 120 days. And I don't always strongly suggest that for my buyers, but if they have the flexibility and they're willing to wait, they will, move forward. But a lot of times that doesn't make sense for them and their family, and especially since we're getting into the winter months. If they have small kids and they don't want to be moving in the winter, I don't always suggest that may be the right move for them.
Right. The motivation of the seller and the buyers always come to play in any transaction. We have open lines, 248-539-9797. I want to throw out a whole bunch of things, and we're going to get into some refinancing and debt consolidation also. But our jumbo loan products are absolutely phenomenal. If you're out there, if you're a luxury buyer, obviously all the way up to whatever
Harvey,
you want.
What is a jumbo loan?
Well, over 424,100 here, if you're quizzing me.
I am.
But the programs of the loan amounts over that amount, there's opportunities where you can still buy a 10% down. And I think
we have a 5% down product.
And that product also. But our 10% product has the no PMI. And I don't know about our 5%, but our 10% down product has no PMI. You don't have to break it into two different loans. That was something that a lot of families were getting into. They were buying the houses. They were breaking them up into two separate loans. I don't know. You could just do one loan, avoid PMI, and probably make your life a little bit simpler also.
Absolutely.
Most families do like to consolidate those first and second. So if you're buying the house, maybe just take a look at all your options again. Call Capital Mortgage Fund and give us a ring here on the show, and we'll show you all your options.
It's funny. One of the most common calls I take right now is people trying to consolidate the first and second mortgages, and you really don't have to do it anymore. It's not necessary. You can go 5% down. You actually can go 3% down with no PMI. I mean, those second mortgages, those rates get heavy quick.
Yeah, they jam people up, and but you're also going to find that there are people that went on a second that got a relatively low rate, and because rates were low, it didn't adjust or even went down. But those days are long past, and we take a look at it. We want to do one loan, and you're going to find out that there are so many options right now and so many programs that you can have that are to your advantage. A couple things we like to talk about on the show every week. We like to talk about rates, and we like to talk about property values. So in your experience, Laura and Caitlin, tell us, what are you finding out in property values, specifically appraisals? And Mike Tomchek, who is a panelist on our show very frequently from Paramount Appraisals, he will tell you that, and this guy he's so buttoned up when he comes to a house, and he does his homework, and he's really good, and he's our go-to guy in terms of opinions when we have things that we want to talk about, everything appraisal. What are you finding out about home values now, and how are they coming in? Tell us what you got going on. Are they coming in high? Are they coming in low? Are they coming in at value? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I've been in the business for a long time and definitely came through the time period where appraisals were always low. So I sometimes call myself a battered woman on that subject. So I still, when I go and I...
That was aggressive. Okay.
But
no
true.
comment. We're not commenting on that.
As
she
a
can talk about it. We can't.
Wow.
Yeah. As a listing agent, I always meet the appraiser, give them my comparables. I don't tell them they have to use them. I try to give them all the information they need. As a buyer's agent, what I tell my clients is, you have to, all you have to do is buy fair market right now. But we have to look at it like an appraiser is going to look at it, so we don't set ourselves up for defeat when we get to that process. Appraisal should not be, we shouldn't be saying we'll give the seller what they want and we'll just renegotiate at appraisal. We don't want to do that. We want to set it up to be as smooth as possible. But in general, in the last, I want to say 24 months, appraisals are coming in surprisingly at value, and I think it's because we've got so many more transactions happening.
Well, what do you tell your seller? You're representing the seller, and as you have to do in the state of Michigan, unless you sign a buyer's agency agreement, but however, you always represent the seller. What do you tell a seller about the appraisal, and you prep them?
Absolutely.
You say, listen, here's our plan if the appraisal comes in low.
Actually, what I do is I spend a lot of time with them when we're pricing the house to make sure that I don't set that up to happen.
Yep.
If I can get the seller to listen to me, and I'm fairly forthright, and say this is the range, and then depending on how good our product is. So if we are in range by the comparables to be whatever, pick a number, 200,000, but we are in outstanding condition, we can probably push a little bit more than that. And then when we talk to a buyer, we're probably going to be in a multiple offer situation because we have great condition.
Right.
And then we just tell them we're going to have to build in some sort of a buffer for the appraisal.
I like that. So that's good. That's good from the seller's end. Now when you're working with a buyer and they put in an offer, they put it in for $200,000, and let's say the property comes in at $192,500.
It won't be a surprise to my buyer.
It won't be a surprise. So what do you tell the buyer at that time? You say, hey, listen, you're just going to have to come up with more money.
I actually have that conversation. I know Caitlin and I talk about this all the time. We have the conversation long before the appraisal. Right. The conversation happens when we're putting the offer out. We look at the comparables. We say, look, we think it's going to come in between, 190 and 195. I know we're offering 197. What do you want to do about that? I need to know that now. I don't want to set myself up to have to renegotiate an inspection or appraisal because we did something wrong in the beginning.
Well, they love you. Where have you been all my life?
They know it. And again, an educated...
Are you talking to me?
That's strong. Well,
no, we're not talking to you.
No, he's not.
An educated buyer.
In this case, no.
But here's the thing. Harry's trying to walk it on the path right there to say, well, I would call a new lender and do another appraisal.
No, I didn't say that. I'm waiting to hear what she had to say.
I know, but that's always the question. That we ask realtors. What do you do when the appraisal doesn't come out on the purchase price? Well, I tell them to call a new lender. No, you say, listen, the purchase price is $200,000. It came in at $190,000. I just saved you $10,000.
That's right.
You're getting the house for $190,000 now.
Well, I wish that was true. It doesn't work like that. And that's where we have this thing where developing a great relationship with a lender is so important so that you understand we can't just make that happen. Right. If a seller's expectation is something different, that's not going to happen. So what our job is to make sure it's not a surprise when it happens.
Right. It doesn't have to be a surprise. And again, if the house is in move-in condition, and again, Caitlin, you've already prepped your people. Your buyer's already prepped. Laura, your people are all ready to go. They understand that if they spend another $20,000 over the appraised value, that there's value there, that the house is in moving condition, the kitchen's been updated, the bathrooms have been fixed up. When we come back...
Expectations is such a sketchy word because, here, I expected to be 6'3" and 210, but I'm 5'9" and 200. I mean,
we just can't win with you.
It happens.
All right, we're gets a quick break here, 9:41. We come back. All your calls, 248-539-9797.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All righty, welcome back here. We are giving you another 15 minutes worth of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, want to thank everyone. If you want to call the office, definitely get that approval letter. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker here at the studio, 248-539-9797. We want to thank Randy Brandt for coming in from Real Team Real Estate. I got a couple listings here. We were just sort of checking them out, a couple awesome houses. One of the things I did ask you just now, Randy, I won't hold any punch. I said, hey, what about that one? Why isn't it sold? And you said, it ultimately becomes the price. And sometimes the seller's motivation just isn't there right now. But as an agent, you want to leave the listing up, of course. You want an opportunity to make the sale.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when we walk into a listing appointment, obviously we want to hear why they want to move, why they need to move, so on and so forth. Everybody has their value of their home, what they think it's worth. Excuse me. And they, you know, we try to accommodate that the best we can, but we do have these things, you know, we do market comparative analysis. So we know what it actually is going for on the current market, you know, what's being sold around that's comparable to this home. And at the end of the day, yes, it is the seller. And, you know, if they want to list it high, we'll definitely do everything we can and try and accommodate. But there are times when we have to have that talk of, all right, well, we need to bring it down a little bit because it's just not moving as quickly as we want.
You know, I mentioned it recently. It seemed like somebody bought a box full of those just reduce signs because I see them on a lot of the homes that haven't sold over the summertime in a hot market. You know, again, typically it's an overpriced home. We talk to the professional agents out there, and they are saying that if your house has not sold in 2 months, in 3 months, if you're listing a house out there and you're trying to sell one, again, you got to open your eyes and talk to these agents. They know if they're telling you, look,
not
folks,
all of them.
That's true. Not all of them.
Okay.
There's a lot that'll walk in and, you know, and I'm all about the competition. I grew up playing sports. I'm all into it. So when somebody looks at me and goes, well, I'm meeting with 3 other agents. Yeah, you know.
Which is a bonus.
She did play hockey.
So
did play ice hockey.
And they tell you, hey, there's some people, they're getting interviewed.
I walked into one out in East Point Friday, and he said, I'm meeting with a couple other agents. Great, go for it. At the end of the day, I'm going to call you Monday, and you and I are going to sign documents because I know what I can do for you. He's got it up for sale by owner right now, which is fine. You can try it. Are you going to have qualified buyers? No, you literally have it listed on Craigslist, which is probably one of the scariest things I've heard.
Oh, boy, is that a bad idea?
Caesars Arena. Of course, 97.1 The Ticket will be there all season long. Tonight, come down and see your Wings take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rieger and Leach will be broadcasting on the concourse at Little Caesars Arena starting at 5. Of course, the street team will be there too. Brought to you by Michigan Lottery's $5 multi-prize bingo. There's fun in every one. For tickets to all Detroit Red Wings home games, go to DetroitRedWings.com.
Download the all-new radio.com app and listen to 97.1 The Ticket anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
Welcome back to the show, 946. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our
Favorite
17
hour
plus
of the
year.
week.
Alex's favorite hour of the work. Hey, we take all your calls, 248-539.
10 hours.
9797. Nice, Harry.
I'm well compensated. Thank you.
Hey, we got jam-packed sports here. Keep it on 97.1 all day. By the way, the Pistons are doing some awesome work down at the new Little Caesars Arena. Of course, the Red Wings getting
Went to the
back
game
on track.
last night. Went to the Piston game last night.
Cool stuff. A lot of cool vibe things going on here in Southeast Michigan. There's no doubt about that. Caitlin, we already corrected you. You're all good. We know Caitlin does real estate all over Michigan, the whole state.
She's amazing.
Caitlin,
She really is.
Speaking, that comes from a guy who's used to being corrected every day.
Oh, thank you, guys.
I'm okay with it.
okay.
I have baby brain. I'm actually expecting my first child, so
Beautiful.
I'm
Congratulations.
There
we go. That's a great excuse, by the way, but you're fine. And Laura, you got a couple great open houses coming up if you wanted to drop a little information on that.
Absolutely. Sunday, 12 to 2. One is in Poppleton Park, 937 Henley, beautifully restored.
Oh, yeah.
It absolutely is.
It definitely is. A Tudor.
Old
Just
English
gorgeous.
Tudor?
I can't say anything better about it. And
How
the
many
other one,
how many square feet is
it's
it?
26, almost 2,700 square feet.
Like it.
Top to bottom. absolutely gorgeous on a double lot in Poppleton.
Wow.
12 to 2 on Sunday. And then the other one is in Bloomfield Township. That's 4344 Sunningdale. It's what everybody wants. It's a ranch with a lower level walkout.
Oh, wow.
Priced under $5. So
Nice.
Oh, I know the street.
It's outstanding. Come and see them.
Those are two great listings. I didn't even know what you were going to say, but those are two great opportunities
Thank you.
for families out there. Again, you can always call Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll hook you up with these great ladies, and make sure you get that approval letter in your hand. Then you can go out and make a great offer on the house. Again, so many opportunities out there if you're still trying to buy a house. We talked about it, and it sort of becomes the conversation here. Is there good inventory? Is there bad inventory? Your expectations change. It's always a fun conversation to have. But again, where there's an opportunity, there might be an opportunity for you. If you don't love the house, again, maybe you could buy it for all the right reasons and potentially maybe sell it, and maybe there's some down the road where you're going to profit from it in some capacity. There's not a ton of brand new inventory. They're starting to build a whole bunch, and you've got a couple of the projects going on, including those condominiums in Northville. So a couple of really cool things. You got the Birmingham, you got the Bloomfield Township, and some action in Northville and all across
I love
Southeast
that
Michigan.
Poppleton listing.
Yeah,
Double a lot on Poppletons.
Yeah, that's really hot.
Really gorgeous.
That's not cheap.
Yeah, you know,
It's
how
drop
there's
dead.
a saying out there that you can control only what you can control, and what we can't control are interest rates. Mortgage rates have been low for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Right now, we're going to see the Fed meeting in December.
They're going to raise rates.
Certain pundits are saying they're going to raise rates. Alex and I are on the bandwagon that we think they are going to raise rates. We can't control that. That's going to happen. There's definitely some uncertainty developing. Usually, uncertainty on a worldwide front means rates are going to either stay the same or go down. But what we're talking about is our president. There's a brand new Fed Reserve chairman coming on. He is kind of a dove, as they say, and we think, though, you know, that means he's a dove. You know what a dove means?
It's a bird.
Yeah, right. It means he's low key, he's quiet. He kind of just goes with the flow.
Yeah, like me.
But I'm going to tell you right now, rates are going to go up. They're not going to stay. They're not going to stay this low. They're not going down to zero, and rates are going to start creeping up. So we think all of 2018, you're going to see an upward trend in the market. And that's because they have to go that way. Right now, you're looking at 30-year fixed rates in the high 3s to low 4s. You're looking at 15-year fixed rates in the mid 3s to low 3s. They can't stay that way. They're at over 50-year
It's economically
lows.
impossible for
That's
them
right.
to stay that low.
Yeah, so if you're on the fence right now, you got to take a look at getting off the fence for one reason and one reason only. Rates are going to go up.
Now, I want to point something out to people who don't maybe work in the industry. This is not fear-mongering, guys. This is not a way to drum up business. The Fed has flat out said we're going to raise rates, and we're going to continue to raise rates.
That's
and
a fact.
I've run into a bunch. This is Michigan-specific. Most people in Michigan, if they're doing well, they want to go up north and spend their time in the winters and summers up north where they go out in the lake and cabin. If you have a property that you live in here and you have a property up north and you've got mortgages on both of them, the market is so hot right now for real estate sales that the prices of homes are going up, which means you probably have some equity in your house. You can probably combine those together, lock into these historic rates while the opportunity is there, and get yourself a one combined loan that might be less monthly and take care of it so you have a property that's paid off in full up north that you don't have to worry about.
It's all about saving money, and that's what we do. We like to save people money, whether it's through a new purchase, getting them the best situation, or combining their existing properties, or even taking out equity to pay off bad debt, toxic debt, credit card debt.
I love that.
So it's only about saving money. That's what we do, and that's our primary focus is taking care of the clients and saving them money on any front that we possibly can.
Yeah, if you want to sneak in on the show here, we got a few minutes left. 248-539-9797. We want to take your calls. And, of course, always at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Laura, you said it. Actually, appraisal problems not recently, and that's because of the time of year. If you're out there now and they're using the comparable sales from the summertime, and everything was top-notch in the summertime. So it's an interesting window now. And, again, that might open up some doors for families refinancing. You may get a little bit higher appraisal now. Again, you're in November, so they are using the comparable sales from over the summertime. And again, that'll give you some families out there an opportunity to pull the equity out, hopefully to do those home projects, to pay off the toxic debt, do things that are going to make sense for your family moving forward.
I've had some transactions lately where we paid off some credit card debt, and these people are saving thousands per month. People don't, people don't realize when you make your credit card payment, when you're making that minimum payment, you're not doing anything. It's basically interest only. I mean, you're talking it's going to take you 50 years to pay that off. And these are people, they're saving.
Alex, did they tear up their credit cards after?
I told them to. I hope they did.
As long as you're counseling and advising them to tear up those credit cards after you've paid off that.
Yeah,
debt.
once you pay them off.
Well, don't tear them all off. You got to keep a couple.
Keep a gas card. Whatever. Keep one Visa.
I want to say something that people in our industry, again, may not particularly like because it takes people out of our industry. I've done a ton of what Alex is talking about. In fact, I have one working right now. Someone's saving $2,400 a month total on their debt by combining it together.
Wow.
I showed them a way to take every single thing they're paying monthly, and in 6 years, they'll be completely debt-free for the exact same payment versus having a mortgage, cars, credit cards, all that.
Here, break it down like this. So they're saving $2,500 a month. So you just got a raise of $30,000 a year. That's after tax dollars. That's like getting a raise of $45,000.
And then your debt becomes tax deductible too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, even if they change
Harvey
that,
just said absolutely.
of course we did.
You certainly did, Harv.
The word of the day.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I couldn't agree more with you.
kettle, kettle. Pop's calling the kettle.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to throw this out there, too. One thing to keep the business local. I really like that. Again, we always have that vibe here in Detroit. We talk about all the great things that are in Detroit. It's sort of unique to the Mitten itself. Whether it be the Verner's soda or pop and different things. And we have a lot of great things here. So why not keep your mortgage business right here in Michigan, too? Call Capital Mortgage Funding. You can deal with local lenders where you can just come into our office, meet with us. And again, we'll set you up with all these great real estate agents.
I love that
And
you
that's
said
the key.
mitten. That's outstanding.
You like the mitten?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Natalie when she makes her scarves. My girlfriend knits, so she'll knit like full scarves, like these gloves right here. She made these for me. She knitted these from nothing. And
Buy in Michigan. There you go.
Well, no, she has this thing, this little tag that says "Made in the Mitten" by Natalie. That's why.
That's a great tag.
It was emotional. You got me in the heartstrings. You guys they call me a bully.
Yeah. Don't point at me.
Yeah, you guys called me a bully earlier, but when you said mitten, it made me think of Natalie, and I'm like,
That's such good radio.
It is good radio.
Appreciate it.
Well, if you're definitely considering purchasing a house, again, rent versus owning a home, housing decisions, if you're planning on staying here, if you're not planning on moving out of the state, now would be a great time to go ahead and take a look at the housing market, find out what you're going to do. Again, we've always talked about how rents continue to go through the roof, and now might be a great time to buy. And also, I like when Caitlin brought up, she threw that city out there. That's all these new little cities out there that are going to be the up-and-coming ones. And Hazel Park, we see, is going to be an up-and-coming one.
That's the next one. I'm telling you guys. I'm on record right now telling you that's the next one to go.
Right, and we've already seen it happen
in a good way.
And again, everything you take from the great areas and you just start expanding outwards, whether you're in Macomb County or in the Ann Arbor area, you see it in Ann Arbor area. Anything just in the vicinity of it also is becoming some of the hottest real estate here in Southeast Michigan. So great opportunities out there. Again, if you're planning on it, it's affordable for you, and it's your lifestyle change. It sounds great to me. Ladies,
did you guys have fun?
Thank you for
So
coming
much
on.
fun.
You guys
We'll
are
definitely
positive.
be back
Great
if we're
positive
allowed.
show.
Yeah.
Great vibe.
If
You
we're
guys have
invited.
great energy.
You're
Great
always
energy.
invited
Sure.
back. Anytime you guys want.
Laura Kasanjian and Caitlin Pringrazi from the Max Brook office in downtown Birmingham. Two awesome agents. We'll have you ladies back on for
Thank
sure.
you so
really
much.
good
Thanks
stuff.
for having us.
Again, for the
Guys
rest
are
of the
great.
day, be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800 low rate, the best mortgage banker. I see Pat Caputo out there. He's got sports. We got a ton of college and high school football to cover. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. See you next Saturday.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800 low rate, the best mortgage banker.